Across the state, certified master naturalists are getting together to help conserve our natural resources and learn about our native plants and animals. Today, we are so excited to have Chuck Foster, president of the Capital Area Master Naturalists, explain what all they do and how we can get involved. Chuck, how are you doing? Welcome to Central Texas Gardener.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here today.
How did you get involved with landscaping or the natural world?
My start came with my grandfather. Growing up in East Austin in the early 90s, he had a small little garden on the side yard where we would pick tomatoes and peas and stuff like that. So that was like my real first introduction. I was about 5 or 6 years old. And we also, he had a nice little landscape in his front yard with roses and salvias and things like that. And he really kind of taught me the beauty of it all. And then on the weekends, he was a weekend warrior lawnman. And he would pack his lawnmower in the back of his truck. He had an old red Buick, and he would put his lawnmower in the back of the trunk, grab a cup of water, a big jug of water, and he would take us with him out there to like West Austin, Westlake, and Lake Travis. We had properties out there he would work at. And just seeing those landscapes out there was just amazing. And so for a young kid, you know, that's just like the biggest thing, the greatest thing to see, you know, all that beautiful landscapes out there. So, but that's where I got my start from. He was the genesis. He wanted to start everything for me, from landscaping, outdoors, and nature. So I really appreciate him for that.
So then how did you become involved with the Master Naturalist program?
Well, I got involved because I got my degree in urban and regional planning. So for a while I was a city planner, and I was specialized in site planning and long range planning. And I got to a point where we would be in site development meetings, and I didn't know what really was going on between the city engineer or the landscape architects from the developers and to the contractor side, and I wanted to learn more. I wanted to learn how urban development was impacting spaces so I can be able to contribute. I got more involved with like local nonprofit outdoor groups like Tree Folks, Austin Parks Foundation, who I work really heavily with to this day, Shoal Creek Conservancy, and they had like seminars and things like that where they would teach you more about specific things like the parks and trees. But I needed something more. I wanted something more that was more general, more outdoors in nature. And so one day I was at Millwood Library, this was about 2018, and they had this book in there called the Austin Environmental Directory. And in there, they had a listing for the Capital Area Master Naturalist. And so for a few years, I kind of mulled on it. I asked my mom, I was like, should I be part of the Master Naturalist? She's like, what is a Master Naturalist? That's something you probably stay away from, you know, Chuck? So I don't want you to get involved with that. So I was doing more research on it, and then 2020 hit, and of course, that's the COVID year, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I knew work was going to kind of slow down. And at that time, I already had quit being a city planner and started working in landscaping and design. And so I decided to take a risk, threw an application out there, and got selected for the class of 2020. Our class was all hybrid. We met up a few times to do field trips and things, but everything was, not hybrid, but all virtual. Right. And so we had the opportunity to kind of do all our classes through there. And I got certified in 2021, and it's been 4 years since, and this year I'm the president, so.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What exactly is the Master Naturalist program? I mean, it's not just something in Austin, right? It's something that's statewide. Oh, yeah. To kind of jump back a little bit, the term Master Naturalist actually was coined and termed in Fort Collins, Colorado, 1995, as a response to urban development and sprawl. The citizens there decided to use their tax money to protect those natural spaces and areas from development, and also to use it to educate the residents about the wildlife, ecology, environmental things like that. And so kind of fast forward a few years later, it kind of caught wind in Texas, and the first chapter was in San Antonio, Alamo City. It was the first Master Naturalist chapter, and then followed, subsequently it was Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, and then us in Austin, where we're the Capital Area Master Naturalists. And so yeah, Texas became the first state to offer it statewide. Texas Master Naturalist program. And really our mission really is just to educate volunteers to go out and provide education and services and outreach for the beneficial management of our natural spaces and natural resources here in Central Texas. What sort of conservation work are y'all doing specifically? Because it's not necessarily just plants or animals, it's ecology, right? It's all. Totally, yeah. We work with really close with the Austin Water Wildlands. Specifically, we help out at Vireo Preserve, which is located off of 360 in Pascal Lane. And so we do a lot of work out there where we help out with,
ecology, environmental stuff, migratory border birds, helping with those type of habitats. We do native plant rescues. We help out with invasive species removal. So a lot of different things. Anything outdoor nature regarding is what we do. We're all about it.
And what's sort of the benefits of becoming a master naturalist? Those are involved, because I've definitely in my travels been to other states, and they're not as familiar with this program. And I think it's such a wonderful group of folks that really carry out. So what all is involved for those who might be interested?
Well, to kind of start back, like I said, we had the initial trainings. We offer 2 classes this year. We started last year. We have a spring class that's all in person. Okay. And then we have a fall class that's hybrid between, you can be in person and the field trips. You get a chance to be part of a network of people, like-minded individuals that are all about, Texas outdoors and just really protecting the ecology and the environment. As an initial training, you have to go through and get like 60 hours. Right. 40 of that is volunteer service, 20 is all in class and in-field training. Then to recertify, you have to get 40 hours annually of volunteer service and 8 hours of advanced training, which comes through seminars or chapter meetings, board meetings, and things like that. So again, you have the opportunity to be a part of just a really group of great individuals that love outdoors.
Why do you feel that y'all's work is so important for this area, or even statewide? I mean, what are master naturalists bringing to the table that maybe that just other nonprofit or conservation organizations or need help with?
There's a lot of things, but I'm gonna kind of chop it down to maybe 2 or 3.
Okay,
really,
let's
right? Do it. From the individual person, right, you become one with nature. Right. You have the opportunity to heighten your senses of certain things like your hearing and your touching and your sight. You feel a lot more comfortable being outdoors and walking through trails or going to a nursery or going to a park. Those things, our education gives you that opportunity to heighten your senses and just your passion, your drive for being outdoors, right? Then again, like I said earlier, you're part of a family of people that are really like-minded and want to help you to grow and be a part of a lot of these conservation and restoration projects that we're doing. And so, but on the bigger scale and the macro scale of it all, if we look in our general government right now, right, there's funding cuts coming, there's staff positions being cut, and so, especially like in our wildlife and parks area, as we've kind of seen already, right? So that's where master naturalists come in at and able to fill those voids. We're not looking to be professionals, right? We just want to give back where our heart is, and kind of lies at. So I tell people, in our chapter, we give 10,000 hours or more of volunteer service per year. Wow. You kind of break that down, that's almost 27 hours of volunteer service per day. So regardless if it's trash pickup or if it's native plant rescue, we're giving back in all different areas, right? And so, but again, when I originally got involved with becoming a master naturalist, again, just the pressures of development, sprawl, these things are affecting our areas. And so we need individuals out there like master naturalists to provide the outreach and provide the education, let people know what's going on.
So for people who are interested in this and want to become part of this wonderful, wonderful group of folks, I think passion just driving this, as you've said, how do people get involved?
Well, the first thing I'll tell anybody is just show up to our work days. Okay. All right, we have work days at Vireo and other land tracts that are part of the Balcones preserves around town. Get involved so you can be around the master naturalists. And then also you can join our chapter meetings. Okay. You can subscribe to our newsletter. Just jump on the website, cam.org, and read up about everything that we have going on. We have pictures, we have all the meetings and all the work days on there. Right. That's the first step I tell anyone. And so, but again, we do have applications coming out pretty soon for the fall class, which is, I think, June. Again, you become more educated, you become, your heart is more full, and you're giving back to society.
Well, Chuck, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us about the CAM fam today.